Hey, Pastor Steve Waldron. We're looking at psychology and worldview from a biblical perspective. So we're just taking some scriptures on what is man, and man from a scriptural point of view. So in Proverbs chapter 20, verse 27, we're going to see what the spirit of man is. You know, man is body, soul, and spirit. And some people bring in mind, reins, heart in that as well. But let's see what Proverbs 20:27. Again, thanks for being here. Check out our other videos on this subject. Should be in a playlist. And God bless. So 20:27 of Proverbs, King James says, "The spirit of man is the candle of the Lord, searching all the inward parts of the belly." So some would say that's conscious. I think it's more than conscience. I think it's communication, intuition. I also think it's motivations, all the inward parts of the belly. So let's read that again. The spirit of man is the candle of the Lord, searching all the inward parts of the belly. This goes back to Romans 1, that mankind has a spiritual nature and knows there's a God. And so this is seen in Scripture. So this is what the Spirit of the Lord is. It's the spirit of man, is the candle of the Lord. Search all the inward parts of the belly. And you may want to compare that to 1 Corinthians chapter 2 at some point too, just on your own time. So let's go to Mark 12:30. Mark 12:30. As we're turning there, I will mention that John the Baptist leapt in the womb. So you are a sentient being even from the womb. And there's many things. Jeremiah was called from the womb. We've already seen in lesson 2, Psalm 139, verses 13-16, all the amazing things that happened in the womb, that David was a person before he had any body parts. So 12:30 of Mark says this, the great Shema, "Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, all thy soul, with all thy mind, with all thy strength." This is the first commandment. So mankind is made up of a heart, and some people talk about neurons in the belly, that the heart can actually think. There's fascinating videos even here on YouTube of people who've had heart transplants, who the receptor of the heart transplant actually has some of the characteristics, which I know that seems weird, but just watch the videos because it seemed extraordinarily convincing. And I'm a highly skeptical person by nature, and I really didn't believe it till I looked at the evidence, and I'm like, yeah, there seems to be something to that. I don't know all the ins and outs of that. So mankind consists of a heart. It's not just talking about the blood pumping, but there's something, we talk about people have heart. They showed heart when they were motivated heavily. And with all thy soul, which again traditionally is mind, will, and emotion, psyche in the Greek language, or get psychology, worldview, and psychology, and with all thy mind. And then, God willing, later on in this series, we're going to go into, is the mind wholly other? Because it goes back into Cartesian dualism versus Hobbean organic development of the soul. And that Thomas Hobbes, that said life's nasty, short, and brutish. And he basically said when the brain dies, consciousness dies. The Bible doesn't teach that at all. It says to be absent with the body is present with the Lord. The rich man lifted up his eyes in hell after death. Lazarus was in Abraham's bosom after death. He's the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He's not the God of the dead, but of the living. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob were living, even though they haven't been totally resurrected yet. And so your mind is something outside of your brain. It may have usages in your brain, but it is something different than your brain. That's a scriptural viewpoint. And with all thy strength, this is the first commandment. So your innermost being has something to do with your natural body as well. So we're going to stop there, and this is just some fascinating looks at the psychological nature of man. You may want to check out our other videos on this. God bless. We love you. Bye-bye.